Namaskaram and welcome to the fourth episode of the VANI series on the ALVARS. Today we look at the father-daughter in the Alvar Goshti, which is Alvar and Andal. The original name of Alvar was Vishnu Chittar. That is the one who has Vishnu in his Chitta, in his heart, and whom Vishnu has in his Chitta was Vishnu Chittar. He lived in the town of Srivilliputturu, which has the famous temple of Padapatrashayi Perumal. His Kainkaryam, his service to the Lord, was to grow flowers in his garden and make garlands of the flowers and the tulsi leaves and take it to the Lord to be adorned on that beautiful Vigraham of Padapatrashayi Perumal. This is what is called as the Pushpa Kainkaryam that he used to do to the Lord, which also reminds us of the Pushpa Kainkaryam of Anantalvar, who used to do it very regularly for the Lord at Tirumala. Like we spoke of Tirumalisi Alvar, who had Sakhya Bhakti to the Lord, Vishnu Chitta had Vatsalya Bhakti. He used to treat the Lord as his own child. He was very concerned that every day so many people are coming and falling at the feet of the Lord. So many people with varying degrees of impurities and sins, and such a pure divine feet of the Lord. So he was always concerned that the feet of the Lord should not be tainted by these impure souls touching his feet. So he sang the Pallandu. It's called the Tirukkapu, the Tirupallandu, as a Rakshay, as a savior, to save the feet of the Lord. So he sang a song to ensure that the various aspects of the Lord remain protected for ages to come, so that devotees in future also can have the vision of the Divya Mangala Swarupa. In the normal case, the devotees would say, "Oh Lord, you protect me." But here Vishnu Chitta was so concerned about the Lord that he said, "Oh Lord, may I sing a song that protects you and protects your various aspects." So that is why he is called Periya Alvar, because he was a paternal figure to Lord Narayana himself. So he became Periya Alvar. Among the Alvars, he became Periya Alvar. Now we shall hear to this Tirupallandu two Pasurams from this.
பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டு பல கோடி நூறாயிரம் பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டு பல கோடி நூறாயிரம் மல்லாண்ட தின்தோள் மணிவண்ணா உன் சேவடி செவ்வி தீரு காப்பு மல்லாண்ட தின்தோள் மணிவண்ணா உன் சேவடி செவ்வி தீரு காப்பு அடியோ மோடும் நின்னோடும் பிரிவின்றி ஆயிரம் பல்லாண்டு அடியோ மோடும் நின்னோடும் பிரிவின்றி ஆயிரம் பல்லாண்டு வடிவாய் நின் வலமார்பினில் வாழ்கின்ற மங்கையும் பல்லாண்டு வடிவார் சோதி வலத்துறையும் சுடராழியும் பல்லாண்டு படைபோர் புக்கு முழங்கும பாஞ்சசனியமும் பல்லாண்டே 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 ஏ
Once, when Periyalvar was roaming in his garden, he suddenly heard the cries of a child, of a baby. As he went closer in the Tulsi garden, he found a girl baby lying there. As Vishnuchitta did not have any children, he took up the baby girl and he started bringing up the baby girl, thinking her to be or taking her to be a gift of the divine. Because he discovered her from the earth, he named her Goda. Go means the earth. There are many meanings of the word go. One of the meanings being the earth, Bhumi. Goda, the one who was given by the earth, was Goda. So she named her Goda. It's very similar to how King Janaka discovered Sita when he was plowing the field. And even Sita relates to the earth. The name Sita relates to the earth. Right from her childhood, Goda had an intense love towards Krishna, intense devotion towards Krishna. And naturally, being in the vicinity of Vishnu Chitta, of Periyalvar, it was but natural that the devotion would come. But her devotion to Krishna was at another level. She had become intoxicated with the love to Krishna and she wanted to marry Krishna, just like Mirabai wanted to marry Krishna. She would decorate herself when she grew up to be a young teenage girl. She would decorate herself with different ornaments and garlands and see how she looks as a bride besides Krishna. She has to match the beauty of Krishna, isn't it? So how would she look? She would constantly see herself in the mirror. And when she saw the garlands that her father had prepared for the Lord, she had a desire to wear those garlands which the Lord himself is going to wear. And if when the marriage happens, naturally they have to exchange garlands. So having all this in mind, she used to take that garland and see how it adorns on her. Because ultimately the Lord is going to put the garland on her. So how she would look. But then being afraid of her father, before her father came, she used to keep the garland back in the basket, which Periyalvar used to take to the temple. This happened for a few days and Periyalvar hadn't noticed this. One day he found a long strand of hair on the garland and this enraged Periyalvar because it was sacrilege for him that something that is kept for the Lord has been made impure by wearing on a human body. So he got really angry with Goda and he discarded of that garland. He prepared a fresh garland with the flowers plucked from the garden and he took it to the Lord. And it seems the Lord refused to wear the new garland. He wanted the garland worn by Goda. He was happy wearing the garland which Goda had herself worn on her. So Vishnu Chitta, Periyalvar started getting the inkling of the devotion, of the bond that existed between Goda and Mahavishnu and Narayana. Goda, as she grew up, her devotion, her bhakti towards Krishna went on intensifying. It was so high that during the chilly season, the chilly month of Margazhi, she used to get up early in the morning and with all her friends, she used to go to the river, take bath in the cold waters of the river and observe Vratam, Nombu, and pray for getting Krishna as her husband. Just like we find in the Bhagavatam that the Gopikas used to perform the Katyayini Vratam and they used to take bath in the river to get Krishna as their husband. So this was a practice that started by Goda. And during this time, she sang many songs in praise of the Lord, which is what we popularly known as Tiruppavai. Pavai means girl. Tiruppavai, she is the auspicious girl who had the intense desire to marry the Lord himself. So these are the popular, very famous songs composed by Goda. Goda Devi, known as the Tiruppavai, which is typically sung even today. In the month of Margazhi, in the early mornings, you would see the Bhajana Mandali in the streets, especially in South India, singing the Tiruppavai and going around the town. So we shall now listen to the first Pasuram of the Tiruppavai.
மார்கழி திங்கள் மதி நிறைந்த நன்னாளால் மார்கழி திங்கள் மதி நிறைந்த நன்னாளால் நீராட போதுவீர் போதுமெனோ நேரிழையீர் நீராட போதுவீர் போதுமெனோ நேரிழையீர் சீர்மல்குமாய் பாடி செல்வ சிறுமீர்காள் சீர்மல்குமாய் பாடி செல்வ சிறுமீர்காள் கூர்வேல் கொடுந்தொழிலன் நந்தகோபன் குமரன் ஏறார்ந்த கண்ணி யசோத இளஞ்சிங்கம் ஏறார்ந்த கண்ணி யசோத இளஞ்சிங்கம் கார்மேனி செங்கண் கதிர்மதியம் போல் முகத்தான் கார்மேனி செங்கண் கதிர்மதியம் போல் முகத்தான் நாராயணனே நமக்கே பறை தருவான் நாராயணனே நமக்கே பறை தருவான் பாரோர் புகழ படிந்தேலோரெம் பாவாய் பாரோர் புகழ படிந்தேலோரெம் பாவாய்
The other name for Goda was Sudikkodutha Nachiyar. Sudikkodutha Nachiyar, the one who wore the garland and gave to the Lord. Sudikkodutha Nachiyar or Sudikkodutha Sudarkodi. Her love for Krishna kept on getting intensified, and she even had a dream of marrying Narayana, of marrying Krishna, of their marriage. She had even a dream of their marriage. And the next day she shares her dream with her close friends. When Vishnuchitta came to know of this, when Periyalvar came to know of this, he didn't think too much. He didn't take it very seriously. He thought this is probably an imagination of the girl. But soon the Lord himself came in the dream of Periyalvar and fixed a day when he was asked to bring Goda as a bride, decked as a bride, to Srirangam. And he assured that he would accept her as his wife. So on the fixed day, Periyalvar arrives with Goda in Srirangam. And the moment Goda enters the sanctum of Ranganatha at Srirangam and falls at the feet of Ranganatha, she merges into him and she becomes one with him. And there stands Periyalvar, looking at this scene of the moksham, the mukti that Andal, that Goda attains. That is when she came to be called Andal, because she, Periyalvar, knew is now ruling the heart of Narayana. She is there in the heart of Narayana. So Andal, she ruled the heart of Narayana himself. At that time, Periyalvar says, he proclaims, I had a girl child. I raised her up like Lakshmi herself. And one fine day, Thirumal, Narayanan, he came and took her away from me. Now she is living. Now she has entered a big household. What a household it is of Narayana himself, of the creator himself. She's entered into that household as his mistress. What a great house to go into. And she is now the daughter-in-law of Yashoda, the mother of Narayana himself. So it's a mixed emotion that Periyalvar expresses in this Pasuram, where the first half is sad that the only daughter he had is being taken away by Narayana, but he is also happy for his daughter that she's gone into a great household and Narayana has become his son-in-law and he was the father to Lakshmi herself. We shall now listen to this Pasuram, which is expressing this idea of Periyalvar.
Orumagal தன்னை உடையேன் உலகம் நிறைந்த புகழால் ஒருமகள் தன்னை உடையேன் உலகம் நிறைந்த புகழால் திருமகள் பால் வளர்த்தேன் செங்கண்மால் தான் கொண்டு போனான் திருமகள் பால் வளர்த்தேன் செங்கண்மால் தான் கொண்டு போனான் பெருமகளாய் குடி வாழ்ந்து பெரும் பிள்ளை பெற்ற அசோதை பெருமகளாய் குடி வாழ்ந்து பெரும் பிள்ளை பெற்ற அசோதை மருமகளை கண்டு உகந்து மணாட்டும் புறம் செய்யுங்கொலோ மருமகளை கண்டு உகந்து மணாட்டும் புறம் செய்யுங்கொலோ.
We thus had the great fortune to tell and hear the story of Periyalvar and Andal and also to listen to some of their Pasurams. We shall continue this journey of Bhakta VANI tomorrow as well. Till then, Namaskara.